What is happening, y'all? I thought I'd do a video today on the things that I don't like about my truck. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing for all 3rd gen Tundra content and just my user experience with my 3rd gen Tundra. So I've made a video about what I do like. You can go ahead and check that out. And I've made videos about the quality control issues that this truck is having if you're interested. But for today's video, I want to talk about the things that I dislike. So let's get into it. Number one thing I dislike is how Toyota designed this window and how much noise I've been getting with the wind noise. So for whatever reason, Toyota decided that they're going to use the cheapest quality window seals that they can find that you can just peel back with your finger. And in my opinion, it's a poor design choice. Because they went so cheap with this window seal and the in channel in here, my window and other people's, there's tons of Tundra owners out there who have the same issue. They have play in their window. So you can hear that movement. Why that is an issue is when you're driving at highway speeds or there's crosswinds, this makes a noise constantly. And it just adds to the wind noise that's already coming in. So independent of this window issue, this truck also has a wind noise issue. And partly I think it's because of the size of these mirrors. These mirrors are really big. They're not tow mirrors. They're your standard size mirrors that come on the Tundra. And it's just super, super noisy. When you're driving down the highway and it's not a picture perfect day, you're gonna get a ton of wind noise coming in. And it's mostly through this area here. But I just did a 300-mile road trip this past weekend, and it was almost unbearable how much wind noise was getting into the cabin. There was a lot of crosswinds, and of course I'm driving at 70 miles per hour. And even with the radio up, it's super fatiguing to just hear wind noise, you know, for 2.5 hours straight. So again, the way they designed this window, the wind noise, those are things that I just really don't like about this truck and are driving me a little bit bonkers. Additionally, another thing I don't like about my truck, and you guys, if you are subscribed to the channel, if you've seen my videos, I've talked about this ad nauseum, but the material choices on the interior and exterior. I'm going to focus on the interior for now, but you know, it just seems like Toyota cut corners with the interior plastics. I think post-pandemic, this might be on par for most manufacturers, but you know, like the plastic they used here on the dash and on the door cards, on this armrest / console over here, this plastic here, you can just tell it's lower grade plastic than what was being used pre-pandemic. It honestly feels, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, it feels like a Fisher-Price toy that your child would play with. My kids have toys that feel that they are on par with this plastic, and again, I'm not exaggerating. Now, you might be saying, well, didn't you touch and feel the interior before you bought this truck? Yes, I did. And those are compromises that I was willing to make. I said, I can live with these cheap plastics as long as this truck is reliable and durable. Now, has this truck been reliable and durable? Check out my other videos if you'd like the answer to that question. But these plastics, you know, they've been rattling, they've been squeaking, some of them have been falling apart. And you know, I only have about, I'm not even at 5,000 miles with this truck. I'm a little bit over 4,000. I've had the truck for a little over almost 3 months. And, you know, you'd expect some of these materials to be holding up, and they haven't been. So again, that is one of the issues that I'm having with this truck, that multiple Tundra users are having with this truck, are these subpar material choices, guys. That is one thing that I do not like about this truck. This headliner here, again, it's flimsy, it moves, you know by just touching it that it's not going to hold up the test of time. It's going to drop, you know, sooner than later, in my opinion. And you know, we'll just have to wait and see. Another thing I don't like about my truck is this center console area. Because it is mostly made of plastic, it just does not feel super solid. It kind of rattles and moves when you're going down a washboard road, when you're going off-road. You know, there's just always some kind of noise coming through here. Even though I appreciate, you know, the design element of having this pass-through, which I think is pretty useful, because they decided to do that, you have these two plastic shelves or trays up here. And what that does is just adds to that sound factor, because this is just plastic. And you can't put anything up here really, because this is just scratchy plastic. Everything slides around. You know, it's just wasted space in my opinion. Yeah, you could probably add, you know, a little bit of grippy here or there, but again, I don't foresee myself using it. I don't really like this. You put any pressure down on here, it makes a noise. I'm not a big fan of this. I would have preferred a more solidly built console area armrest section here, instead of having this gimmicky pass through here. But again, just something that I don't like about the truck. Additionally, I don't like all the port installed options that came with my truck. I've talked about this before, but this dash cam here, it's super low res. It doesn't really work properly. It beeps every time I go over a speed bump, or I'm off-road, or I'm on a washboard road. This thing beeps like crazy, and then I have to hold this power button down to power it down every time. It doesn't stay off, and it just looks stupid. It looks silly. It just kind of takes away from your visibility a little bit, and I absolutely don't like it. Additionally, my truck came with this giant safe inside the center console area. It's massive. It takes up most of the space, and it's just a pain in the butt to keep opening it and having to close it if you want to put something in there. So most of the time I just leave it closed, and it just takes up space. I wish it wasn't there. I'll probably end up removing it at some point, but again, something I do not like about my truck are those two items there. Let's see. Again, one of the things that I don't like about this truck is the storage space here on the side. It's really hard to get into. Now, I wear a watch usually, and so it's even harder to get down in here, but I think even if you don't have a watch, it's super hard to get in here and like get anything out. You're just like constantly battling here. There's barely any space for your arm to go through, and you can't really use it. It's not very serviceable. I think a small, 12-ounce bottle, plastic bottle of water will fit in there, but other than that, you're not fitting much. And again, it's super flimsy and just not high quality, and you don't get a lot of space here. I think that Toyota designed this poorly. They could have done a better job there. Let's see. Okay, let's move on to the outside, because there's stuff on the outside that I don't like. All right, so you buy a TRD off-road package on your Tundra, and you expect that you get a better tire. But for whatever reason, Toyota, their offering is the Michelin LTX Trail, to not be confused with the Michelin LTX Defender, which I think is a much better tire. But this tire it's serviceable. I think that's the best way to describe it. It gets you from point A to point B. Luckily, I haven't had any issues, no flats, nothing of that nature. I have taken this off-road. Again, it was adequate, nothing to write home about. It's just more road biased than off-road biased. So you spend quite a bit of money on these trucks, and especially for TRD off-road, and you'd expect that Toyota would include a better tire, but again, an area where I feel like Toyota is cutting corners. Additionally, one thing I don't like about my truck are the plastic bumpers. This wasn't a deal breaker for me, because I think that this is on par with what most manufacturers are offering. But in the second gen Tundra, the TRD offerings came with steel bumpers. These come with these cheap plastic fake chrome bumpers, and they just don't look good. And honestly, I'm not a fan of plastic bumpers. It is what it is, guys, but again, just something I do not like about the truck. Now let's move to the front of the truck, because there is a big design flaw here that I don't appreciate about the truck. But as you guys know, this grille is very plasticky, very cheap. It moves easily. I don't like it at all. But outside of just the cheapness of it, there's these giant gaps in it. And why that is an issue is because these third gen Tundras have 3 radiators. One for each turbo, so one here, and then the main radiator for the engine in the middle. Why that is an issue, these gaps let in obviously tons of air, which is good for cooling, but it's really bad when you're driving down a country road where there's lots of rocks, or you're on the highway a lot. Like I mentioned, I just went on a 300-mile road trip. There's a bunch of bugs caked up in my radiator. You can see that there's already some dents in it. And I just think that long-term reliability for this is going to be a major issue. I think that, you know, and it does have some active shutters that allegedly close and open that help with fuel efficiency. You might want to look that up to get more accurate information, but I just feel like these large gaps, that is going to be an issue for these radiators down the road. And again, something that I just don't like. And from a, you know, design perspective, I just don't feel like it's the best design that Toyota could have gone with. But again, something that I don't like about the truck. Same with this cheap plastic chrome. It is what it is. But yeah, guys, I think that's it. I think those are all the things that I don't like about the truck. If you're interested to hear about what I like about the truck, I do have a video for that. But I'm in a holding pattern right now, and I thought I'd do this video. I'm waiting for the rear differential parts to come in so my rear differential can get swapped out of this truck. Again, not even at 5,000 miles, and you know, we're having some issues. But again, guys, I just wanted to share my honest perspective with y'all, as always. And thank y'all for stopping by. We'll see you on the next one.